Greetings and welcome to What's New with Human Design, in which we follow the journey of the sun and the earth around the human design mandala. Hi everyone, Maggie here. Today is March 19th, 2021, and it is the day before the spring equinox, which is tomorrow on March 20th, early in the morning, like 2 a.m. So many blessings for you on the spring equinox. This is a wonderful time for you to reflect a little bit on how your year has gone so far. We are moving into the most expansive quarter of the whole year. So the energy in the northern hemisphere has been expanding as our days have been getting longer ever since the winter solstice. And now when we come into the spring equinox, it's like everything moves exponentially for the next few months until we get to the summer solstice, which is when the days start getting shorter again. But for right now, we're in this deep state of expansion. And so it's a wonderful time for you to be reflecting on where you have been so far this year and what do you want to be giving your energy to for this next quarter, because you have an expanding ability to create during this time, to be channeling your precious life force energy in the direction that you want it to go, so that you can be bringing into your life more of what you want and less of what you don't want, and to be able to harness the energies that we're going to have over the next few months, to be able to bring that about for you. So this is my favorite quarter of the year. My birthday is coming up soon. I was born soon after the spring equinox, so I consider myself a spring equinox baby, which was why when I discovered the name Ostara, which is the name of the goddess who presides over the spring equinox in the old Celtic traditions, her name was also Astarte and Oester, and the early Christians took her name and made it into Easter, and then kind of put it on top of the spring equinox, because Easter is actually the only Christian holiday that is connected to the spring equinox. It's the first Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox. So this is all about the time of Ostara and rebirth, regeneration, rejuvenation, this really expansive time. If you think about what's happening in the natural world, where trees are blossoming, plants are blossoming, we have bulbs that are pushing up through the earth. Maybe where you are, if it's still cold and even snowy, sometimes you can see crocuses coming up, even in those conditions at this time. And so that is really vibrant energy that we can tap into and utilize for ourselves. Okay, so that's the context for us going forward over the next few months. Today, the sun moves into the gate 25 and the earth moves into the gate 26. So this is a significant shift for us from those emotional energies that we have been looking at, and particularly last time and over the last few reports that I've been doing. We still have a lot of activity in the emotional solar plexus. You'll see that there are 4 gates that are still defined, including 2 channels. And so there's a lot of activity still happening over through the emotional solar plexus. But with the earth and the sun, we are moving to the G center. The G center is half of what we used to call the heart chakra and in the yoga traditions. And in human design, that energy center, that heart energy center, split into 2, and one of them is the G center. And that is the center for love, lovability, direction, and identity. And so both of the gates that we have defined from the sun and the earth over the next 5 to 6 days are on that G center, and so they carry that love energy. Even though the G center isn't defined through them, they still that's the characteristic of these 2 gates. And I like to think of it as that this is like a portal. It's a love is like a portal into our heart, or our heart is a portal of love. And the qualities that we're experiencing right now have to do with the gate 25, which in traditional human design is the love of spirit, and in quantum design, human design is simply spirit. And the gate 46 in traditional human design is love of the body, and in quantum human design is embodiment. So they're very similar in traditional and quantum human design, but they are about this kind of exquisite love. It's an unconditional love. It's a spirit-filled love that comes from divine source energy. It's not so much what we think of as human love or romantic love, although certainly those are related. It really has to do with this kind of higher quality of love, and it's not emotional in the way that we typically think of emotions, or the emotions that go with the emotional solar plexus, but it is definitely a very deeply felt quality, and particularly with us having love of the body. So the earth has moved into the gate 46, which is the love of the body. Now this is in the sensing circuit, which is a collective, part of the collective circuitry. And it is the sensing circuit, which I have talked about before in previous news on human design, is it's from the right brain. We talked about it with the 64, which is the beginning of the sensing circuit. And so it's not rational, it's not logical, it's not linear, it's not any of those things. It's the right brain qualities of creativity, of sensuality, of learning through experience, learning through the body, and it's very connected to a sense of oneness, which when we think about that kind of spiritual love is all about oneness, right? It's all about our ability to tap into and experience the way that we are part of the web of life, that we are not separate from the web of life. We're not separate from God, if you will. We're not separate from spirit. We're actually an expression of all of those things. And so in that sense, we are very much a part and we're connected. So this is giving us the opportunity to do that. We also have the channel 3536, which I talked about last time, and I'll circle it back to at the end of this today, is also defined. And so that's also in the sensing circuit. So we've got this sensing circuit activated right now. This is a wonderful time for you to really be having a lot of gratitude for this physical form, this miracle. If you think about it, the human body is miraculous. It is a crowning achievement, if you will, of the natural world, of Gaia, of our planet, of the relationship between, the sun and the earth, and what has been created for us here on this beautiful planet, this blue-green jewel spinning through the cosmos, right? And so our physical body is an outgrowth of that, an expression of that. And we often feel very disconnected from our bodies in our computer-focused, our device-focused society, where we're really taught to be in our heads and to be very intellectual and logical and reasonable, and things based in the scientific method, if you will. And we're not really taught to love our bodies. And for women, it can be a huge issue. I know that Brené Brown really named it well, and it's certainly not something that she just discovered, but she named it really well when she said, the number one source of shame for women is our body image, right? We've really been taught to hate our bodies in Western culture. Fortunately, this is not a global phenomenon, but in Western culture, and certainly in the United States and in Europe, we've largely been taught to hate our bodies, to think that if we could just lose 10 more pounds, or if we could just get rid of those wrinkles, or if we could just make our body into a different shape, then we would feel good about ourselves. It's all a bunch of crap. It really is. When you look at the images that are put out in media, they're not even images of real people. They're photoshopped, right? And airbrushed into shapes that actually women don't have naturally. So we want to be able to deprogram ourselves from that conditioning that we have from common culture that has led us to think that our bodies are inadequate, they're not the right size, they're not the right shape, they don't fit into the right clothes, which aren't actually designed for real people's bodies. And so my invitation to you, and this is going to be your grounding, because this is where the earth is, right? This is going to be your grounding right now, is to love this body. Just really love her or him. Love every part of your body. I was taught a self-love practice, which I think is really beautiful, which is where you can, take a beautiful bath, and to actually touch every part of your body and say, oh, eyes, I love you. I love the way that you help me see the world. Ears, I love you. I love the way that you help me to really receive others and hear what's valuable about them, right? And you can do that with every part of your body. You can do it with your breasts. It's like, oh, breasts, I really love you. For me, I love the way that you help me to feed my child for so many years. I love the pleasure that you have given me throughout my life. My thighs, I love my thighs, right? I love your shape. I love the way that you help me to move through the world, dancing or walking or hiking. I so value and love you. So go through all the different parts of your body and allow that love of the body, which is really available right now, to pour through you in an expression that you have for your body. And if you haven't been exercising or you haven't been moving the way that would be beneficial for you, now is a great time to engage, because again, that love of the body is going to be here to support you. Now, when you do that, okay, this is your foundation, right? This is your earth. It's going to enable you to experience that love of spirit, that expression of spirit that is coming through the gate 25, because they're very connected, right? They're both on the G center, and whatever, is where your earth is going to be your foundation for the expression of your sun. So know that there's not a dichotomy between the body and spirit. A lot of religions have taught that we're supposed to transcend the body, that the body is sinful. This is just an old mythology, which is not true. It's just not true, right? That the body is sinful, that it's dirty, that we need to transcend it and go into heaven, however that gets expressed. And I think that it's really, really vital that we are unraveling that and seeing the lack of truth to that. And one of the things I love about human design is it really does teach us about embodiment. It teaches us that we have this incredible energy moving through our system, and we're not going to tap into that so that we can transcend the body. We're going to do it so that we can embody even more. So this relationship between spirit and the body is expressed right here in these few days, while the sun's in the 25 and the earth is in the 46. So use this time to cultivate your relationship with your body and the way that it is spirit expressed in form, because that's really what it is you are expressing your place in the web of life through the miracle of the physical body. So some of the ways to do this, I do Kriyas that come out of Kundalini Yoga, which include breath, which is spirit, which include the physical body, which work with the energy and really works with the whole system. It's a holistic approach. You may have your own ways of doing that. Also, when I was dancing more, before we had COVID, and hopefully I will again, dance was a way that I would really do this kind of a practice where I was expressing my spiritual self through my physical body. So you may have ways that you're already doing that. You can do it in as simple a way as just going out into nature and taking a deep walk somewhere away from cars and the trappings of society as much as possible, and really allowing your physical body to support you to tune in to the spiritual quality of nature, and then that can express through you. Okay, so that's what I have to say about the sun and the earth right now. I think I did. Oh, actually, I have a couple other things. So the 25 is actually in the sensing circuit, not the centering circuit, okay, which is an individual energy, okay, and it's also an aura busting quality, like the 6 that we talked about last time. That was in the defense circuit, though, which is a tribal circuit, so it's a different quality. This is more individual circuitry, so the thing I would say about this 25, right, which is where the sun is right now, the love of spirit, is that it is inviting you to explore your own way of expressing your relationship with spirit or yourself as spirit, because all of the individual energies, individual circuitry is about bringing in change, bringing in new forms, authorizing you to really be yourself, right? Let your freak flag fly if you want. So as you're exploring this relationship between spirit and your body, know that part of that can really work for you if you let yourself just be different, like do your own thing. Don't necessarily follow the way other people tell you to do it. Or if you do something like do a Kriya from Kundalini Yoga, use that to stimulate you, but then find your own individual expression. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know what you thought about this, your love of your body. For example, what steps are you going to take during the next few days to experience that love of the body more and to shine the light of your love of spirit? Many blessings, much love. Bye for now.